not sure who that sit next to that guy. Is that the thumbs up? We have the thumbs up. All right. Well, this is the day the Lord hath made. Let us rejoice. Sunday morning, and here we are, coming together from near and far. We're unity, that's the way it should be. Well, that's the way we used to do it. Now the next one I'll sing the new line. I've got family waiting for me, and every Sunday I'm glad to see we're unity, that's how we want it to be. My, we're so happy it's Sunday. This is our very own Unity Day. We're here where we belong with all of our family. We're unity, that's how we want it to be. The sun is shining and I am too. I feel so happy, how about you? We're unity, that's how we want it to be. We're so grateful that love abounds, our brothers and sisters all around. We're unity, that's how we want it to be. My, we're so happy it's Sunday. This is our very own Unity Day. We're here where we belong with all of our family. We're unity, that's how we want it to be. Oh, 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 we're unity, that's how we want it to be. Oh, all right.
Welcome to Unity of London. And it is a fabulous day outside, and it is a very exciting day inside. And those of you who have phones, by all means, share where you are, and then please mute yourself or make it so that it vibrates. Ooh. Welcome home, everybody. This really has been my home this week. Spent a lot of time here. But when we come through the door, we see the love. We feel the love and the joy, kindness, a little bit of curiosity, because there's always something going on. We grow here. We are allowed to be ourselves. And there is connection. And of course, we all share in our mutual transformations. We're evolving peace, and we all know that Unity of London is a positive path to spiritual living. We inspire people to make a change, because really, the only change comes from individual people. And we here in London definitely can make a change. Oops, I missed one, thank you. Unity has 5 basic principles. 1, God is all good and active in everything, everywhere. 2, I am naturally good because God's divinity is in me and in everyone. 3, I create my experiences by what I choose to think and what I feel and believe. 4. Through all affirmative prayer and meditation, I connect with God and bring out the good in my life. 5. I do and give my best by living the truth I know. I make a difference. As I said, the only change really comes from us. That's how the world works, one person at a time. And we coexist with all of those others in the world who believe in a higher power. We provide fellowship and education for spiritual seekers of all walks of life. Today, our prayer chaplains are Dawn in the building, and Wilda is online on Zoom. And now we welcome back our wonderful musician, Jim Chapman.
I've forgotten what my next song was going to be. Can you put it up there? I can see what, then I'll know which one it is, because it matters. There we go. Okay, that's good. That's good. Well, it makes it, you'll see later why it made a difference which one it was, because it's we have a little treat later on too. We're all going to have a little fun together. Now, well, I hope so. I sure hope so. How many of you were here yesterday for the Healers event? It was pretty special, wasn't it? There was a lot of great information here. Thank you again, Amber, for making that happen. I know how hard you and all your team worked. And Lorraine, and your team, and Lorraine, everybody that worked so hard on that. It was one. I was very honored and pleased to be part of that. But even if I hadn't had anything to do, it was great just to be here. Now, Pauline sends a thing out before every week and says, "Here's what I'm going to talk about." And I always try to find something that will work. And I don't want to give away what her talk's going to be about today. But I hope I think this kind of works for what I think she's going to do. And there's a. No, never mind. We'll just do this song. You can figure out what it's all about. Set myself for a distant shore, far from the life I'd known. I wanted better than before, so I really had to go. But I never left my heart then home. I never touched the sea. I just let go and gave control to a greater power than me. I don't have to see the sun to know it warms my skin. And I don't have to fear the storm when peace awaits within. Now Spirit steers me every day and guides my shaky hand. No matter where my ship may go, I'm always on dry land. I may be the captain of my soul and pretend I'm in control, but the things I cannot do myself, Spirit leads my soul. In the things I cannot do myself, Spirit leads my soul. You and I and all of us, we sometimes feel alone when the weight of living every day feels like a heavy stone. But though we may not see a friend, there's always one at hand. Sweet Spirit guide every step to our promised land. I may be the captain of my soul and pretend I'm in control, but the things I can do by myself, Spirit leads my soul. In the things I cannot do myself, Spirit leads my soul.
wonderful. Thank you, Jim. We are so fortunate to have such a talented man in our midst. So, Silent Unity has been praying with us for longer than you and I have been around, for sure. And to do that, if you want to call in Silent Unity, it's 1-800-NOW-PRAY. I've done this a couple of times this year, and I found it to be such a moving experience, and it really felt to me at the time that there was going to be a lot of good come out of those prayers. So if you haven't done so, or if you haven't done it for a while, I highly encourage you to call. And you don't necessarily need a reason, but either way, it will definitely move you at the time. If you have prayer requests of your own, of course, we have a box at the front, and there are some slips kind of hiding in behind the box. Fill in the name. You don't need to put in any details because God will be aware of what your prayer is. Hit the active screen, Mike. Thank you. Okay, we're now going into prayer. This part I forgot about. I invite you to pray. Dear God, who is all around us as well as within us, let us connect with you on a deeper level than we ever have before. We know that you are always with us, and we find you by going within our own hearts. We are truly grateful for the people here and those who surround us in our lives. They're all blessings to us, whether they are happy, friendly people or people going through struggles, because they will always bring us gifts in pleasure or learning. We are truly grateful. And we bless this day and those of us who share it. Amen. And now Nancy Youngston is going to read the Daily Word. Thanks.
Today's daily word, as in the prayer, is blessed. And there was a beautiful song that Christina sang on Friday, and it was, all things work together for good in my life. I am blessed. So all things work. If someone asks me how I am feeling, I might smile and simply respond, I am blessed. I may have bills to pay, maybe a few aches and pains, but I remain aware that I am an expression of God. I know wherever I am, whatever I am doing, God can never be further away than my next thought. While I may not believe challenging events are blessings, I will likely feel blessed when I respond from an awareness of God's guiding, loving presence within me. Rather than reacting anxiously, I proceed calmly and with confidence, trusting divine order. Knowing I am blessed, I can radiate faith that I pray, and it helps others to recognize the blessings in their own lives. And from Numbers chapter 6, verses 24 to 26, May the Lord bless and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. That was my grandmother's favorite. Okay, today, again, it's always a blessing to have Pauline here to speak to us. She's been with us since 2013? 2012, sorry. Let's just put it longer. And she's a licensed Unity teacher, and we're always blessed to have her. She's a great speaker, as we all know.
Thank you very much, Nancy. Most of you will not realize that Lorraine Brynan came up here with about 5 minutes notice. And she's a prime example of someone stepping in. And stepping in with authenticity and a genuine faith that comes from inside. Today's message is about living the presence. And it's all connected with this month's theme of order. Order, when I first heard it, meant to me cleaning up my office, which is an ongoing task. But those of you who are here and know about the powers will recognize that order is it has nothing to do with tidy papers and everything to do, well, might have something to do with tidy papers, but more about inner balance and harmony. And those who've ever, and I know I have some dear friends here who for a while lose their physical balance, know that that can be discombobulating. I do a Zumba class 3 times a week, and one of our exercises, I don't know if I dare do it, but we use weights, and our instructor has a very strong accent, so she'll say, yo, yo, go. And she's sort of yelling at us, and it can be a little disconcerting. So we hold up our hands and we go. Standing on one foot. And sometimes she'll say, no, don't wobble, and then do it on the other foot. And people sitting here who have these big boots on are saying, Pauline, no, don't even think about that. Doesn't really matter if you're wearing a big boot or you're in a walker. If you have your inner balance together, that's what counts. That is what is so significant. I don't normally go back to Chicken Soup for the Soul, but today I was looking for a little story. And unlike Rev Laura, I don't do the funny stories at the beginning. It never seems to work for me. But there is a story in here that you might relate with. You know that this is the time of year when we've got little flies, fruit flies inside, or sometimes even a little yellow jacket will fly in. So this is a little story by a man called Price Pritchett. And it's called Try Something Different. And I'll just paraphrase the story, and you might relate with it. He was sitting in his cabin in the woods. I thought, oh, bliss. It was in the evening, and he heard this noise. It was a little fly. And the fly was kind of frantic. And it kept darting all around. And it kept hitting the window because it wanted to get out. And so he took pity on the little fly, and he went over and he opened the door. It was from here to there. He opened the door a little bit. The fly kept going to the window. There was the door. Do you think the fly would take the easy way out and go fly out the door? No. Why am I sharing this? You know why. Because so often in our lives, we are looking to get out of our turmoil, our anxiety, our stress. And we try this and this and this. A movie, a friend, a concert, a distraction, anything, and we're going pew, pew, pew. And inside we still feel stressed and anxious. There is a door. The door is the door to our divine inner presence. We need to calm ourselves and go inside. Because that divine presence, my dear friends, is always, always available. It's part of us. Do you get that? Once you get it, it is such a source of calm. Tools for living a God-centered life. And I'll just quote a little tiny bit from Jim Rosemurgy about order, because order is our theme for this month. You've heard many different talks this month. I always, whenever I prepare my presentation, I go to the power, and that's what I base it on. And this is what Jim Rosemurgy says. Life is not all about order. There's a lot of disorder around us. But we do not ask whether an event is in divine order. We ask whether we are in divine order. The most important issue is, will we awaken to the presence of God? And whether you call God inner divine presence, or God, or spirit, or spiritual life, the wording is not significant. I had a long conversation with someone yesterday at lunch. She said, she's this, I really like this person, and she said, well, nothing against you, Pauline, but I don't believe in God. The word God just turns me off. And I thought, okay, all right. Unity is about accepting, welcoming, embracing every single solitary person who walks through that door, whether they believe in God or not, whether they're angry or not, whether they're peaceful and happy or not. And we need to get that into our heads and be ready to stretch out the hand. Will we awaken to the presence of God? Unless we experience the presence, experience it. The order that is divine cannot come into being. It's teeny weeny in there. So to experience divine order, sometimes we remove our attention from the world and direct it inward. I chose a book, again from my library. I'm so blessed to have these books. It's called Ordinary Enlightenment. And you think, well, what's ordinary about this? This sounds pretty extraordinary to me. Experiencing God's presence in everyday life. So what is the presence? Whoops. I think we might have skipped one. Nope. There we go. Thank you, Mike. And Mike is back there. You can just give a little wave in the air to Mike and thumbs up to Mike. It's the immediate and tangible experience of God's consciousness in the world and in our lives. The immediate and tangible experience. We feel it. And this author, John Robinson, talks a lot about what it's like to feel the presence, and he does say, and I was so thrilled to read it, we all can experience it differently. And I know that Jim Chapman, with his near-death experience and his message about 25 days of life, had an experience of divine presence unlike probably any of us, unless somebody else has died and is still here. But we need to just be open to it. And this is, dear Jim created his song because of this next slide. The presence is like a sea of love meant to hold, guide, and sustain us. The presence, like a sea of love. Imagine yourself just in a sea of love, and it just buoys you up. Buoys you up so that you are floating through all the apparent trials of life. I don't know how that makes you feel, but that sentence just made me feel so calm, so peaceful. It doesn't mean that things don't happen. They do. So he has 6 steps for experiencing the presence. First is entering the presence and being still. That might sound easy, but those of us who have some difficulties with meditation know that's not always easy to be still in our busy world. And I know that Amber and Lorraine were so incredibly busy planning yesterday's event, and all those people who helped, including Chris's granddaughter, Tayden. They were in the kitchen. It was so well organized. But I'm sure amidst all that, they were saying, "Ooh, I would like to just be still. I would like to just go to one quiet little place and be still." We can all find those still moments. That's part of experiencing the presence. In school, sometimes I'd go, and there were teachers who would scream and yell, "Quiet, quiet, you're being too noisy." And of course, their children got even more, their students, we call them children, got even noisier because they were trying to out-noise the noise. So sometimes doing that to yourself, until you hear nothing. Very soothing, a way of getting closer to the presence. Entering the presence. Consciously, purposefully, choosing to be closer to divine presence. And I know we can't always find a place like this. I know that Nancy loves to walk Carly. And it can be your garden. It can be a rocking chair in your house. It could be sitting on the sofa holding Sweet Chipper, if you've got a Sweet Chipper, or your cat. It can be sitting beside your beloved, touching their hand. You get to choose. You get to deliberately pick a spot and a place where you feel closest to divine presence. Entering the presence, letting the presence enter you. That's where you're open. You open up and you release all the distractions, all the annoyances. We talk about it when we do our meditation. And it's so easy to hold on to our grievances. I created some little flyers about a forgiveness prayer and put them out on the table. If there's something aggravating you, maybe it's the pain in your leg or your ankle or your foot. Maybe it's a person. Maybe it's yourself aggravating yourself. Then entering the presence and letting the presence enter you is like bathing your soul with warm, soothing water. Finding the presence within. And this is something that's important because we can take all the time we need. Now, when someone leads meditation from up here, it's usually fairly quick, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. You can take all the time you need at home, all the time you choose. And once you start to experience the bliss, the harmony, and the peace, and the rejuvenation of your feelings, you'll find yourself picking a time or choosing more frequent times. Often people do it through meditation. And no, you don't have to sit like that. I just picked her because she looked peaceful. You don't have to do that. When I was in Unity Village once, there was somebody who was leading different forms of meditation, and there was a fancy word that I can't even remember. It was about what to do with your fingers, and she was doing all these intricate things with her fingers, and I thought, gee, it was not soothing for me. And even, I don't see sweet Heather, who always sits cross-legged on her chair when she comes. You don't have to do any of that. You do what you feel good about doing. And if the sight of water makes you scared, I feel sorry for you, but I sympathize, then go where there's no water. Find your space. Prayer and meditation is an easier access for us. We affirm, I am peaceful, I am calm, I release the distractions. Does that always work? No. We're human. So I'm not saying this is a magic key, but it helps once you get into the habit. Try to experience the presence as it is, not as you think it should be. That's not my advice. That's the man who wrote the book. Not as you think it should be. You don't have to compare yourself with anybody else and say, oh, it's easy for her, it's easy for him. They make it sound so easy. You do it the way you feel fit doing it, and you'll grow into it. And this is my favorite. Developing a daily relationship in the presence is like developing a relationship with a friend. Now, if you're lucky, and if you have loyal, wondrous friends who keep inviting you and saying, I'll give you a ride, and you keep saying, sorry, I can't go, then it's good to have friends who are loyal. If you are developing a relationship with divine presence, take care of the relationship. What does that mean exactly? That means its authenticity, I'm quoting from the author, and depth of your relationship with divine presence depends on continuing respect, sincerity and genuine attention. It's not, oh, I feel like doing it today. Yeah, I'm all in. Today I'm going to do it. No, I don't feel like doing it today. I'd rather do something else. Well, then don't expect a genuine relationship if you're not willing to put in the day-to-day building. I'm sounding like a teacher now. I know I am, because I am a teacher. But the good part is that we can enter the presence whenever we feel hurt or confused or off balance. We can enter it. We can enter it when we need to prepare for something difficult or to make a tough decision. Again, take your time. Have no expectations. Letting go of your expectations is part of the order and the calm. Make no demands, and let the presence change you. I can only say that this is significant. Probably the most significant decision you'll make in your spiritual life. Not about singing joyfully or smiling all the time. It's not about that. Those are all good, all important. This is changes you make in you, in your own quiet self. There may be no fanfare, no trumpets blowing, no wondrous colorful balloons or signs saying, hey, she's got the divine presence. No, but you will know it. You will know it when you feel it. Because when you feel it even briefly, you'll say, wow, I didn't have to spend a lot of money. I didn't have to eat all the chocolate that I wanted to eat. Didn't have to go to Dairy Queen. Didn't have to go to a party. Didn't have to travel far around the world. I found that divine presence here now. Through love, we experience our oneness with the presence. Yes, Gary, I know what time it is. I saw you look at your watch. I see all when I'm up here. And I'm almost finished. Sorry. And now we will go into meditation. We breathe in. Just breathe in the stillness, the quietness, that inner balance. Breathe into the presence, the divine presence that is you. That wondrous, beautiful, invaluable omnipresence, divine God in you. And as you are in this presence, recognize your harmony, your peace, your quiet connection with all that is good, with all that is real, divine you. Keep breathing in, breathing out. Just focus on your breathing. Let everything else fade away. brought my little suitcase. I was going to use it in the presentation, but I would have gone over time. It says, discover your path. You don't need a great big trunk to discover your divine path. Just a little case, little tiny bag of knowledge and divinity that you carry within you. And one thing that Christina did at the concert, and I really liked it, was to say, you don't always have to clap. Sometimes you just stay in the moment. So you don't have to clap, it's okay. I can see all of you and feel your love and your energy. And eternally, forever, in my brain, in my heart, thanks to Lorraine. You could clap for Lorraine, though.
You're going to make me blush. I love it when Pauline speaks. There's always something. And today, the visual of presence is like a sea of love. I love water, by the way. It didn't sound like you were that fond of it, but you put me beside water and I could sit there and look at it all day. So, and we were also incidentally talking about developing a better habit of going into the presence just yesterday, so it's kind of timely for me on that. And now we get to find out the surprise that Jim has waiting for us.
I don't care what Christina and Pauline say, I like it when you clap. Now, I was going to save this for later, but I'm going to do it right now because, and I hope you'll indulge me just for a second. When the picture came up before Pauline, the introduction, it's Pauline Duncan-Thrasher, and it said LUT on there. Now, we all know what LUT means. It's Licensed Unity Teacher. And I don't know why, but you know how weird my brain is with just ideas pop into it. And I'm looking at and I thought, L-U-T, lute, okay, lute. Now what's a lute? Well, a lute happens to be probably my favorite musical instrument. I can't play it at all, but I love the lute because the tone is sweet, the voice of it is gentle, and the sound is uplifting, and I find it energizing, and that's exactly what I think about Pauline. So she really is a lute. Now, every week I come up and do the same thing. I sing and I play the guitar for you, and I like doing that, and apparently some folks like me to do it, and that's fun. But I want to do something a little different today, and I want to tie this into what Pauline talked about. There is a song that I have done before. It's called One Great Power, and it talks about the presence being all around us and us being part of the presence. The first line is, there's just one presence and just one light shining in the world like a beacon in the night, and we're all part of it. There's just one power we all can share, one great power everywhere. So, I thought today I want to do something a little different. This is an antique from my collection. I have a collection that I foolishly spent way too much money on over the years. I have a very indulgent wife who's allowed me to do that. And in my most of my collection are instruments, basses and guitars and amplifiers that have some historical significance. This is a 1953 K bass. This was one of the very first electric basses. 1953. They were one of the, well, it doesn't matter. I won't tell you the story. It's just one of the very first electric basses. And the idea behind this was to try to attract people who were playing the big string bass, the big bull fiddle, we sometimes call them, because they're huge and they're tough to lug around. And by this time they had developed amplifiers that would amplify the bass frequencies. They had amplifiers for a long time before that, but the speakers in the amps didn't work. Well, by the early 50s, they had amps which would work. So they, Kay decided that they were going to build a bass to try to attract those players. Now, you can play this like a bass guitar if you want, but they also had a little stand. This is not the original stand, but it will do. You can't find them. They're not around at all. But I thought, just for today, rather than get the guitar out to do this tune, I'm just going to accompany myself on the bass. But I need your help on this, and I particularly need Kate's help on this one. She's always my helper when we do the tunes. You were the first song today. Everybody was up and clapping and singing and having a great time. So, what we're going to do, what I'd like you to do, if you would, I need you to clap, and then I'm going to ease into the song. The words are up there, so you can sing along, whatever you want to do. But we're going to clap. We're going to do the soul clap today. Okay? Do you know the difference? There's the country and western clap, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. The soul clap is 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. That's the one we want today. Okay? So we're going to go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. Well, there's 1, 2. Sorry. Somebody was teasing me earlier today about having an amphibian in my throat again, and I do. Bum, bum. Well, there is just one presence, just one light, shining in the world like the beacon in the night. There is just one power we all can share, one great power everywhere. Well, there is one great power, one great love, big as the ocean and the skies up above. One great spirit waiting in prayer, one great power everywhere. There is one great power everywhere. All right. Well, there is just one purpose and just one spark burning in our souls like a candle in the dark. There is just one chorus we all can sing, one great power, let it ring. There is just one power, just one love, big as the ocean and the skies up above. One great spirit waiting in prayer, one great power everywhere. There's one great power everywhere. Oh, now sing it this one time. Well, there is one great power, one great love, oh, one great power. There is one great power. Well, there is one great power. Well, there is one great power everywhere. Well, there is one great present, there is one great light shining in the world like a beacon in the night. Just one power we all can share, just one great power everywhere. Well, there is one great power, one great love, big as the ocean and the skies up above. One great power everywhere, there's a one great power everywhere. There is one great power everywhere. There is one great power everywhere. Oh, great job, everybody. Great job.
Wow, thank you, Jim. That was so much fun. And what energy in the room now. I just love it. I think it makes such a difference, even when we just stand for the music. It really lifts you because you're participating then in some way. So it is time for our offerings, and there are multiple ways we can make donations. By check, MasterCard, Visa, or debit, and when the machine is in the bookstore. We can use the Tithely site, or we can e-transfer to unityoflondon@hotmail.com. Of course, like every organization, our donations enable us to stay in this building, pay for the heat, the air conditioning in the summer. Mike, the window, thank you. Our prosperity blessing. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. So it is. Thank you. Oops. And our announcements. First of all, thank you so much for everyone. There's hardly a single person who didn't contribute or participate in some way this weekend. So many volunteers, and it's kind of too bad that it was all on the same weekend. Did definitely put all of our activities together, but that's just the way it worked. But it would not have worked at all if it were not for our many volunteers. And as I was leaving the building yesterday, and I had our granddaughter with me, I said, you know, you realize the world would stop, absolutely stop, if it were not for all of the volunteers who put in endless amounts of time. So thank you especially for Amber, who put so much of her time and talent into putting this Meet the Healers Expo on yesterday, because it was her vision and her planning that got us all to where we were, and it was very organized, and the speakers were wonderful. And of course, on Friday, we were treated to some very uplifting, almost ethereal music. It was beautiful, with Paul and Christina. So this weekend, we certainly were treated to an awful lot of shared experiences. And when I arrived, I commented with Jim, I said, you know, you've spent almost as much time here as I have this week. And of course, we have our Wednesdays. He does put that on for us, and we are very grateful. Of course, he is renting the building, but he is, it benefits, it's definitely a win-win for the musicians in the area, as well as us who get to be treated by the many friends and acquaintances and local musicians that he's able to bring in. This week will be the New Cumberland Bluegrass Band. They have been here before, and they were wonderful. So I encourage you on Wednesdays, please come out and enjoy the music, because every week is different, and I've never been disappointed ever in any of the music. The light of God surrounds me. I am the light. The love of God enfolds me. I am the love. The power of God protects me. I am the power. And the presence of God watches over me. I am the presence. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well. Mike? Yeah, God. Okay, so we will now join together for the peace song. Thank you, everybody. We may have some comments for Pauline. And Mike, you can close down the PowerPoint now and slide over our online visitors. Does anyone in the building have anything they would like to